Hi, Kath Edsall, 1026 Daisy Lane, East Lansing. For nearly 30 years, my wife and I have lived in the home we built in the flower pot. We moved in with our two oldest legally adopted children, then 4 and 2 years old. Since then, we have opened our home to 11 other children. Some of them were eventually adopted. Some we helped obtain medical care that they couldn't get in their home countries, after which they returned to their parents. We had a homeless teen stay with us for several months and fostered a medically fragile baby for a year before she moved to her adoptive home. Until the charter amendment the voters of the community passed on November 5th is implemented, all of these situations were and are illegal, and we could have faced fines for protecting or caring for vulnerable children. On November 5th, the voters of East Lansing passed an amendment to our charter over the lies, misinformation, and intimidation of sitting members of this council to protect our right in the city to invite guests into our home, be they foster children, friends, caregivers, or people needing care, to name a few, as long as they do not pay rent. The language of the amendment, as well as the intent, is clear. It has no impact on the city's rental regulations, period. If rent is exchanged, rental regulations, overlays, occupancy, zoning laws all apply. The inability of the city to enforce these laws and regulations should not and cannot be the basis for refusal to implement a voter-ratified charter amendment. If no rent is exchanged, as is the case when one opens their home to a guest, the right to freely associate should not be abridged by the government. The voters of this community affirmed this belief. Furthermore, the definition of guest cannot be limited to state definitions of family or any other restriction upon who we each define as a guest in our homes, as long as no rent is exchanged. A guest should be defined by the host and only the host. Now, it is my understanding that the council is considering legal avenues to prevent the will of the electorate in tonight's closed session. I'm asking the council to protect families like mine, to listen to the will of the voters and implement the charter amendment, and at the same time enforce the rental regulations which are unaffected by the amendment, and not waste our taxpayer dollars, $500,000 by one estimate, on a fruitless lawsuit based on the fear-mongering, lies, and character assassination perpetrated by the No on Prop 1 committee. East Lansing, we have a long and embarrassing history of housing discrimination when those in power try to regulate who can live with whom and where, including redlining and lease covenants, among others. We must do better. Thank you.